This is the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, round 4, week 12, and we are rounding the corner. We've only got a week to go, and that makes this the penultimate episode. I think that's what that means. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And if you like those things, specifically one of those things, zombies, if you like those, then you'll probably like my book that I'm working on, my comic book series. It's called Young and the Dead. It is a kids versus zombie adventure. It's in the vein of all those 80s action adventure films that you saw as a kid that starred kids as the heroes, like Goonies, Monster Squad, Explorers. A more recent example would be Stranger Things. It is a kids versus zombie story, and it's kind of like Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. This is the current issue, issue number 4, but I am working on issue number 5 as part of this challenge, the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. If you don't know what that is, or if you do know what that is, just bear with me for a minute while I let everyone else know. So 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge was started way back when by artist Kevin Cross, who was finding it difficult to find the time in his day to work on his own comic book project. And then he said to himself, you know, if I just put aside 30 minutes a day, I mean, anyone can find 30 minutes a day. If I just put that aside and continuously worked on this project for 100 days straight, 30 minutes or more a day, then by the end of that 100 days, I'm gonna have a lot done. Now, he knew that he might need a little help with this because this was his first time around. So he said, you know what? I gotta hold myself accountable. So I'm gonna put out these videos. I'm going to publicly state that I'm doing this challenge so people can hold me accountable, and that's the other part of the challenge. So 30 minutes or more a day, 100 days straight, hold yourself accountable by posting on social media. And you can do it like I'm doing here on YouTube, or you can do it in a Discord, or you can do it on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, I guess, anything like that that can hold you accountable so people know you're doing the challenge and they're gonna hold you to that. That's it in a nutshell. So that's what I've been doing for almost the past 90 days. So this is the second to the last time I'll be doing one of these updates, and we'll wrap it all up next week. But I've been making some good progress, even though I haven't really been here. So what you guys don't know, what I haven't mentioned until now, is that I haven't been in the underground lair for, I was out of here for about 5 days when I was on a little sort of working vacation in California. And so I had some time in the sun and on the beach and all that. That was all great, but I was also working on my project because I committed to this challenge and I want to stick to it. Now, there was a couple bumps earlier on the road, and we course corrected, we got all that taken care of, and I'm definitely back on track, but I don't want to fall off on track again. So knowing that I was going to be, I wasn't going to be here in the underground lair where I have my art desk and, you know, the computer set up in the command center in another location in the underground lair, I wouldn't have all that with me. And that's the way I'm sort of comfortable working in. I do have an iPad Pro that sometimes I'll do sketches and things on it, but I really do like the idea of working, doing my penciling anyway, digitally in my setup here in the underground lair. And I wasn't gonna have that, so, you know, what was I gonna do? The answer to that is whatever it takes, because now that I've committed to this, I know where I have to be, and I know that there's not gonna be anything, you know, barring some kind of catastrophe that's gonna stop me from achieving that goal. And that's sort of always the way I was in the past. You know, I've been very good at you know, these challenges. If I have a challenge, I'm pretty good at meeting it and everything. I'm pretty good at holding myself accountable, even though it is helpful to do these videos to help me out with that and put that out there, because that you guys are expecting this, and if I'm not doing that, then there's some sort of a breakdown there. So I've been pretty good at that, but I'm trying to take that to the next level, and that's what I'm doing with pretty much all the areas in my life. Now I've sort of entered, and I've talked about this, but I've entered into this leadership training. It's transformational. It's something that I probably should have done a long time ago, but it's never too late. And one of the things that we're learning is that, you know, you need to create a vision for your life, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit, and how it relates to, you know, comic book projects or whatever your art projects, or any projects rather. This vision is greater than any of the goals that I set for myself before in the past. It's visualizing how your future is going to be in the next 3 months, in the next 3 years. Having a clear picture, I mean really clear picture, like you're almost there, like you could close your eyes and you can sense it, what it's like, what it feels like. The senses, the smells, the sounds, how it feels like, the touch of it. It's like, it's clear as day. Like you already, once you envision that, once you imagine that, once you have that as almost like a reality, then it's just a matter of sourcing to create the desired result. This is a method or a mindset that has worked for some of the most successful people throughout history. And really, honestly, they're no different than you or I. We can adopt these same principles, create our vision, and achieve what we want to achieve, as long as we can see that clearly. And so my vision includes a number of different things. It's got personal goals, it's got professional goals, it's community service goals, relationship goals, all of that rolled into one. But the part that I'm focusing right now is sort of it's a personal / professional goal. I've mentioned that, you know, I do this professionally. You know, I'm a professional artist, so in some ways it's a professional goal, but in other ways this is really personal to me. Comics are personal. They're not like the thing that makes me the most money or anything like that, but they're my biggest passion. So it stands to reason that that is a big part of my goal. And before I even created my vision, I knew that I wanted to get this comic book done. But after seeing it and just going forth, you know, and imagining where I'm going to be in 3 months, and having what my vision is telling me, what I've created is that I want to have all the finished artwork, as far as the pencils and inks, finished in the next 3 months. Now, we've talked about the 100 days of making comics. You don't necessarily have to have your book done in those 100 days, and I'll have wrapped up these 100 days, but I'll still be working on my book. But in the past, it's always been like, okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go the same pace. I knew I wasn't gonna get it done in that 100 days, but I don't know exactly when I'll get it done. But seeing that clearly, once you have the vision, then when your intentions are clear, the means of how that's going to happen are just going to present itself as clear as day, because you already see where you've already been there. It's kind of like crossing the street. When you are at a crosswalk and you're waiting for that green light to go to tell you to walk across that street, there's no doubt that you're going to make it across the street. Whereas, you know, if you got these big projects, it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done, but you're not visualizing that. You're not having that vision. So once you have that, it is really as easy. It's just like walking across the street. You already see the destination. The destination is crystal clear, and it's just a matter of letting your intentions bring you to that destination. So that's something that I have recently adopted, and so far it's especially been working very well with this comic book. So I have a vision that my comic book is done. You know, I can see it. It's just a matter of taking those steps and getting to that point. So there really isn't going to be anything that's going to stop me, even, you know, if I'm out of town and I don't have, you know, my setup here that I'm used to working. So what does that mean? Well, you know, like I said, I do have the iPad. If I wanted to, I could, you know, download Clip Studio Paint, the mobile version. I could do that. Well, you know, that to me, working on the iPad, I mean, I know a lot of people love it, but it's not, you know, there's a learning curve there and everything. And it's just, to me, it's not like working on the desktop for me personally. So the way I'm doing my comic book is that I'm digitally penciling everything, but I'm inking everything traditionally. And there's no reason why I can't, you know, bring my actual pages, so once I have my digital pencils done, I print them out on board, and then, you know, and then I ink it. So I've got all my ink supplies. I can just bring that stuff with me and, you know, set aside still that hour at least a day, because I'm doing an hour instead of 30 minutes, and making sure that no matter where I am, where if I'm out of the lair, if I'm in California, if I'm wherever, that I have the ability to work on this. And it does, you know, there's some planning involved there. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I toted all my inking supplies out there. I got all my boards, and there was, you know, there was planning involved, because I couldn't do that if I didn't have enough pencil pages finished. So rather than what I was doing, where I would pencil a page and then I'd ink a page and pencil a page and then I ink a page, I knew this was coming up and I planned it. I see it clearly, so I know what needs to be done. And so I just worked ahead and got a number of pages penciled so I'd have enough to bring with me to ink, so I'd have work to do on there. From there, it's just a matter of doing whatever it takes to see that through, to realize that vision. So here's sort of what I came up with, or here's what I was working on while I was out and away, which, like I said, you guys didn't even realize it. But so I've got 2 more pages inked, and I'm also working on, I've got another page inked that I'm not going to show you quite yet because there's a little bit of a spoiler there. But so I've got 2 pages inked, another page penciled and halfway inked, and then another page that I'm working on that's penciled. So I've made quite a bit of progress. So I'm close to where I was the last time I took this challenge, kind of catching up. I think I fell a little bit behind, but a lot of that was due to I had some more upfront work to do because I was writing the script for 2 issues rather than 1. And I was like, it was almost like chasing this thing where, like, I know I can get there, but I didn't have that vision quite yet. But now that I see it now we're starting to catch up and everything. And I know that at the end of, 3 months from now, I'm gonna have these pages done, penciled and inked, and then it's just a matter of, I've got to do the shading, I've got to do the lettering, and put all the presentation together, and who knows, maybe I'll kickstart another issue coming up. So look forward to that. But I'm super excited with the productivity I've had with this, not only this, but other areas in my life and everything. And it's all because of that vision. And one of the things that really stuck to me, that it was kind of eye-opening to me, because I've always been a person that was like, you know what, I don't know, I'll believe it when I see it, that type of thing. But I heard a phrase where all they did was flip that around, whereas it's that I'll see it when I believe it. And once you believe it, once you have that vision and it becomes crystal clear, you can see it. And then then it's a piece of cake from there. You know exactly where you need to be, or you're, like I said, you're already there. So then it's just a matter of walking across the street. So easy once you have that in mind. So that's something I want you guys to think about. I want you guys to create a vision for whatever project it is you're working on. If you're working on a comic book, if you have some other creative project, or any area in your life, what do you want your life to look like? And really sit down, if you have to, close your eyes, imagine that. Imagine the senses, the sounds, the smells, how it feels, how are you being in that moment? And then you're just walking. It's a more technical term, like reverse engineering. So once you have that, it's just a matter of reverse engineering that, and then you've got a clear pathway to where you want to be. And I'm just so excited that now that I've got my vision and I can see it so clearly that, yeah, I don't have to say it will happen, because to me it's already happened in my mind. It's just a matter of time to get to that point, and I already know, and it's all actionable steps. It's not like The Secret, where you're just like, oh, I want this thing, and then I'm just gonna sit back and it's gonna happen for me. You have to take actionable steps. But once you have that plan, once you have that vision, you know what those steps are, and it's easy to follow, and it's easy, to sidestep any of those obstacles in your path. And a lot of that stuff will sort of unfold if you have your intention and if you take those actionable steps to reach that goal. So I'm super stoked to complete the artwork for this issue number 5 in the next 3 months. And it's also, like I said, I got 1 more week in the challenge, and then we're going to be moving on to other stuff. And I also have a vision for this channel. I've got some new ideas that I'm going to implement, and hopefully you guys are going to stick around for that. Check out, I've got a lot of great stuff, because the things that I'm learning, just the way that I can apply this to artwork and help you guys out, I think it's going to change a lot of what you see on this channel for the better, and still with the same great advice and information and encouragement and all of that stuff that you're going to be able to take and put it into practice in your own projects, with your own artwork, whatever you're working on. So we're going to be, we're going to wrap up we're going to hit it, knock it out of the park with a bang next week. And then it's on to bigger and better things, and I want you to be there along the ride. So I will see you then. But before we go, I want you to let me know in the comments section, do you have a vision? Have you thought about this? Have you really sat down to figure out what you want your life to be in the next 3 months, in the next 3 years, as far as your art projects, anything in your life? really sit down and do that, and let me know what you come up with. I'd like to know just a little bit, maybe just one thing out of your vision that you can start to see clearly, and put that in the comment section. And with that, I'm going to see you guys later. That is all.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.